Mort Cooper, your host on Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. In studio with me is Dr. John Curtis. You are a syndicated
columnist on major news stories. Now, do you believe that Botox is a major news story?
Yes, but I want to tell you,
minor?
Let's tell the folks, the subtitle of Change Your Voice, Change Your Life, which is on cable here, and Time Warner as well, and I've been on for 20 years, so I must be doing something right, and I've got some trophies from another cable network as well. The interesting subtitle is...
I think it's Desperate Voices, Desperate People.
Yes, when they have spasmodic dysphonia, they can't talk and so forth. It's not a good voice to have, because when you're out of communication in our society, you're out of a lot more than just talking.
Well, and in fact, the voice is an important part of just everyday functioning, isn't it? And wouldn't you say that if your voice fails, it can really impact your career?
Would I say it? Of course. Yeah. Bien entendu, as they say in French.
Don't you
Mais
think,
oui.
don't you think that it's impacted the career of Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
Yes, I just saw him on television the other day. He sounds pretty good. He kept his voice up, and then he was a little discombobulated by the other person attacking his position, and he began to drop down into the lower throat. But I heard improvement. I heard a better voice. So he can't change the voice. The medical community is saying he can't do that.
Well,
it's a neurological problem.
He claims that he gets a Botox injections.
Yes, he does.
So then he's attributing his success to Botox.
He can attribute it to anything he wants. He's changed his pitch. He was talking all the way down here. I talk with him by phone. Very decent guy.
He's a very sincere. He's an environmental attorney. Do you find it in any way ironic that the leading environmental attorney in the country, at least one of them, is polluting his body with the most deadly poison known to man?
It's in diluted form, though.
We went to war against Saddam Hussein in Iraq.
Well, we thought he had the real thing.
He had 100 liters or 1,000 liters, whatever chain he said he had. We never found it, but I mean, they went to war because he had botulinum toxin.
Do you know how much botulinum toxin you need to kill 100 to 200,000
people? To poison
people?
a water supply, how much would you need?
One thumbnail.
So that's all. It's a very deadly and very potent poison. Why is he not concerned about the toxic effects on his body?
Because his doctor tells him Botox is the treatment of choice and the state of the art for his condition. I think that's fine. There's only one problem, Dr. Curtis, that I have. The medical community doesn't report a single cure ever in over 135 years. Not one single cure. I've been reporting cures for over 35 years, peer-reviewed, which means that I've been in a prestigious international journal in 1980, and I report documented cures. I sent it out to 14,300 nose and throat doctors, naming the patients, naming the doctors with the patient's permission, and it involves the Mayo Clinic cures of their patient, UCLA Medical Center, over 15 cures there, Scripps, the list goes on.
Now, would you say that in Robert F. Kennedy's case that he is a Botox success story?
No. I think he's getting better. I hope that he remains where I heard him. I heard him initially, as other people heard him before, on national television, and he wasn't all there. Neither is Diane Rehm, who is NPR radio. She's getting Botox, and she interviewed me twice. I told her that she's misusing her voice back in 1984, 85, when I had a book out called Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. Incidentally, the book is in the library. In the library. It's free. You can get it. And there's other books by me, Change Your Voice, Change Your Life, Stop Committing Voice Suicide, Winning With Your Voice. They're all free, and they're in the library. So if somebody is showing an improvement, I'm all for it. Diane Rehm doesn't have the kind of recovery that I would find is appropriate. She sounds that the Botox is not really doing it. She's off the air for a period of time and so forth. I don't know what the outcome of Botox is on Robert Kennedy Jr. because I'm not privy to what's going on.
Well, you really don't know, do you? I mean, the window or the time frame in which he's getting a so-called improvement from the Botox. It could be as short as a day. It could be a couple hours.
No,
we don't really know that.
No, there are patients that don't get help from the Botox. One patient from the East Coast, he had 12 Botox shots, didn't help. A patient had 47, didn't help him. A woman from the Mayo Clinic, 45 Botox shot, never helped her. But there's a variability. They may have a voice for a short period of time or a longer period of time. If it works for the individual, I'm for it. Well, if the individual is taken with it, that's fine.
And the question is what type of voice? I mean, because really with Botox shots, the person usually gets a Botox voice rather than a clear and natural voice.
Kennedy sounded good to me.
Was he up in the face?
Yeah, right up in the face. He's been talking in the lower throat.
So is it possible he's also simultaneously getting some kind of direct voice rehab or something close to it?
I think he's getting help. Yes, I think he's getting help. I believe that I spoke with him. He knows what I do, and hopefully he's getting help somewhere to change his pitch. He was down in the lower throat with a wrong pitch. That's the key. So if the combination works for him, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Well, we don't know again how long his voice holds up. We've heard other people make a lot of claims about Botox. In the National Spasmodic Dysphonia Association video, a race car driver named Chip Hanover claims that it's helped his voice.
Oh, he's got a troubled voice.
But his voice is quite deteriorated.
Yeah. There are those who are associated with the National Spasmodic Dysphonia. The association is sponsored by Allergan with a generous grant of money. They're all well-intentioned. They're trying to help people with the strangled voice, spasmodic dysphonia. The question is the Botox outcomes. I'm not sure of it. I've written about it. I see the negatives of it. The association, the NSDA, National Spasmodic Dysphonic Association, sees only the positives. I don't see what they're seeing. When it happens, I'm all for it.
Well, one thing is for sure, you have a very different point of view than they do about the condition itself. They believe it's a neurological condition or a dystonia. You believe that it's due to wrong voice use.
It has to be.
Why do you two have such differing points of view?
Because they're not trained in voice, per se. They're well-intentioned, they're compassionate, they're humane. But we go down two different roads, as Robert Frost said, a road not taken. They cannot conceive of the fact that this condition, the strangled voice, is curable. The medical community hasn't had a single cure in over 135 years since Ludwig Traub first described it as nervous hoarseness in 1871. Not one single cure. There's something wrong with the theories that they come up with. Gene-related problems, molecular biological cause, basal ganglia deficiency, chemical imbalance in the brain, on and on. And they don't have a single cure. It says that their paradigm, their concept, their theory is not all there. But they're going to adhere to a medical cause, whether it's a dystonia, which is a neurological problem, and a neurological problem. If you have a dystonia, I can't cure that. That's hopeless. But what is being said is that there cannot be a cure because the medical community cannot report a cure. That's wrong.
Well, and that if you're not a medical cure or you don't involve some kind of a drug treatment, then that somehow that's an unacceptable form of treatment.
From their point of view as to what I'm doing, yes. But again, I say they're well-intentioned, saying they want to fix the patient. The patients with strangled voices want to be fixed. Do me. What I'm doing is natural, and it takes change. It takes time to change it. I help cure people who come in for a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, but we don't guarantee anything because it's impossible. We don't know what the patient is going to do. So patients are never guaranteed anything. People ask me, could you guarantee a cure? I can't guarantee I'm going to be alive tomorrow. I just went to a memorial service for a security guard who is in the next building from me, a very wonderful young man named James, and I spoke with him 2 weeks ago.
What happened to him?
He died in his sleep.
Of what?
The autopsy has not been performed.
When you say young man, how young is young?
60.
Okay.
He just died. So when people ask me to guarantee anything, I can't guarantee anything. I can guarantee death.
You mean no one gets out of here alive?
No, nobody gets out of here alive. But cures are possible. I report cures. They're in my book, and the book is out there.
Yeah. Can you guarantee that if somebody goes for medical treatment for SD, that they will wind up either with A, Botox, and B, possibly surgery?
Yes.
Can you guarantee that for medical treatment?
Yeah, that's the state-of-the-art treatment of choice.
Okay. Can you guarantee that they will not be given the option of direct voice rehabilitation?
Yeah, basically, it's nil. Basically.
Why wouldn't they give that as an option?
Because it's not a medical. It's not a medical, and the medics
thing?
control the field. They don't give a non-medical approach. They will talk about speech therapy, but speech therapy has never had a single cure. It is in its total existence since 80 years ago, when it was first formed in 1925. The American Speech Language Hearing Association is so-called named now, but they haven't had a single cure. I'm the only doctor in the world reporting cures of this condition, unfortunately.
Well, why do you think cures have become a dirty word?
It steps on the toes of the medical community. It affects their egos at possibly the bottom line, their theories and their paradigm. It embarrasses them. I've been told that I embarrass the faculties of medical centers, that I treat them as children and so forth, and not faculty. I just report cures and all hell breaks loose.
Well, and a cure is, by definition, the absence of symptoms, right?
That's right.
And the non-recurrence of those same symptoms.
That's right.
So why is it that they object to you using the term cure? Because you've pointed out in before and after clinical case studies, patient no longer has a recurrence of their symptoms.
Yeah, and they remain free of it.
But they've told you, we will feature you, we will actually work with you, we will refer to you.
This is from the
if you recant on the use of the word
the
cure.
National Spasmodic Dysphonic Association. It's
Why
funded by Allergan, the maker of Botox. I turned the offer down October 14th, year 2000. Very nice young lady, because I report cures, and cures mean that the condition, strangled voice spasmodic dysphonia, cannot be a neurological dystonia or medical problem. It cannot be, because I can't cure that.
By the way, that same person that came to your office in the year 2000?
October.
Yeah. I spoke with her on the phone, and she said to me that you're rebellious.
Oh, I'm rebellious?
Yes.
I think they're rebellious.
And that
they don't want to face cures.
She said to me she was trying to help improve your acceptability to the medical community by having you recant on the use of the term cure.
There's no problem. I don't recant. I think they should recant. They make me out to be controversial. I don't believe I'm controversial. If somebody can't report a single cure in over 135 years in the medical field, 135 years, maybe they should recant, and not I. And I'm not controversial. They're controversial. So they've put the wrong shoe on the wrong foot.
Well, their belief is that if you perform a procedure or you put a patient through any kind of a treatment and that is not medical in nature, then you cannot refer to it as a cure.
Why not?
Because you applied no medical treatment to them. They had no drug or they had no surgery.
So that doesn't mean I can't report a cure. They can't report a cure because they're applying a drug or a surgical procedure, but they can't cure the problem of spasmodic dysphonia. I can report documented cures. For 35 years, I've had peer review, which means that I'm holy in that sense. The other thing is, it's fascinating, they're trying to upend cures because it's all natural. And Allergan, the maker of Botox, they got into the field to produce Botox for this condition. They're well-intentioned.
Well, Botox itself is as you know, and I pointed this out in the last hour, was purchased through the U.S. Army weapons-grade botulinum toxin in 1987. The chemical weapons ban went into effect, wherein it was no longer legal to produce chemical weapons by the United States, or they would be out of compliance with the chemical weapons ban. So they sold it to a drug maker, Allergan. They were not manufacturing it at the time. And incidentally, these germs that are manufactured today, they can wind